Hey everyone, Lockie here from Ninja Kiwi, doing a Towel Keepers video for you guys today. I had some questions in my guild about a number of things. Actually, here we are, made a few notes. One question was, what's the best hero party to beat the Wizard's Tower with? So let's look at reasons why you'd want to complete the Wizard's Tower. It doesn't give you any Keeper XP, and I'm not sure why that is, but it doesn't. And it doesn't use any food to do a level, so even if you run out of food, you can still do your Wizard's Tower. The thing I like about the Wizard's Tower is that when you run out of food and you're trying to grind your way to unlock another heroic mission, the Wizard's Tower, doing a couple of levels of the Wizard's Tower can definitely help you unlock those faster. The other thing about the Wizard's Tower is you get some pretty epic loot at the high levels. I'm going to say that the Crystal Hammer is an extremely good weapon for the Cleric. Would you agree? The Cleric's not really an offensive hero. She doesn't deal out a lot of damage, but she does heal a lot, and the Crystal Hammer gives a lot of extra...
It has a lot of defense.
Defense, yes. And it does a little bit of damage. It's a very good item. And you can also get a Void Core on the final level. So let's jump in and have a go at this. We're going to rearrange this party. One of the questions I saw, Bruno, was what hero combination works really well in the Wizard's Tower? And I'm going to say that when you've got very high level heroes, you can pretty much use any heroes you want. But if you're starting out, I would say that you definitely want a tank, and the Knight being a common hero, he's easy to find soul stones for, and you can increase his power pretty quickly. He's pretty powerful for a common hero. So I'm going to put him in front. Cleric and Druid. So another common healer and a rare, one rare, and then we're going to want a damage dealer. And for that, I'm going to use the Warlock. So I think it really helps once you get to the point where if you can actually finish the Wizard's Tower, that loot that you're going to get is really going to help you in the game. Definitely. Good armor, some good armor, a good weapon, no matter what it changes to, it's always going to be good. And then you get that Void Core on the final level, which will help you craft something else of your choosing.
3 golden soul stones.
Yeah, 3 golden soul stones. It's awesome. So let's have a go at this.
Portal stones.
Portal stones, yes, portal stones. Golden portal. Whoa, look at that. This shouldn't be too difficult. Look how little damage they do to the Knight when he is maxed out. He's also wearing epic armor, so... But, okay.
The Knight is so powerful.
The Knight is so powerful. Yeah, I mean, I think the question about the Wizard's Tower, I saw some other questions as well that were just to do generally with what would be the best hero party to develop. And it's a really good question, because early on in the game, everybody's going to find different heroes, right? But the common and the uncommon heroes are a little bit easier to find. The epics, of course, are very hard to find. So, we have just finished the final level of the Wizard's Tower. Let's collect that loot. Get the Void Core, that's awesome. The 3 portal stones, a whole lot of gold. Swashbuckler, Barbarian, I'm happy with this. And the Amazon, cool. That's really good. Okay, Wizard's Tower is now complete. Now let's jump over to our heroic missions. And you can see that bar moved up substantially. So we can collect this loot. We've got a chest to open from the previous one. I kind of saved that for this video. So let's see what kind of loot we get from a grand heroic mission chest. This is a great place to find recipes, isn't it, Ron?
Yes, once you finish to learn all your super items, this is where you're going to be finding the epic recipes.
The epic recipes. Bruno and I have played this game so much because we got in when it was on soft launch just for Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, last year. We've been playing for quite a few months. That's why we have such high level accounts now. And I've found all of the epic recipes, and you probably have too, Bruno. So, but you get to a point where you have to, because I didn't realize this when I first started playing Tower Keepers, is that you want to learn all the other recipes, because you won't find an epic recipe until you've completely learnt all of the other recipes. Then the weapon path, or the armor path, or the machine. And when I started finding my first epics, I realized that I hadn't learnt all my other, I'd been a little bit lazy with learning my other recipes. So definitely pay attention to that and learn recipes. You want to go through these, and when you haven't unlocked some, you want to learn them. You don't necessarily have to craft them, but you want to learn it so that you can then learn the one after it. And eventually, when you've learnt the whole tree, you can find the epics, and the epics are game-changing. They are. So feasting, consuming your feasts. This is another tip. This helps you unlock heroic missions. So let's have a quick look at the heroic missions bar. We've got a little bit left to do. We go over to the feast hall, and this is something I've noticed. I don't know if it's changed in the latest update, Bruno, but all 3 feasts seem to give me the same amount of progress in the heroic mission.
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't seem, unless they've changed it in the latest update, and I haven't checked that. You get the same. So if you're consuming a feast with the goal of unlocking a heroic mission,
you can just do the cheapest one.
You can do the cheapest one and not spend all your food. Because if you do the big one, then you've used up most of your food. So there you see it. I've already maxed out the mage, so we unfortunately don't get a soul stone. We get a little bit of gold instead. And let's see what we get for the small feast. Oh, already maxed out the knight, so no good loot there, unfortunately. But let's dive over to heroic missions. You can see that bar moved up even further.
Almost done.
It's almost there. So on to the next tip. Lots of tips today. It's Sunday for most people. It's actually already Monday here in New Zealand. But on Sunday, we get to see all 3, what do you call those? Like the bonus campaign missions or the daily campaign missions? They normally are temporary. They normally alternate. You'll normally just see the Gold Road or the Boot Camp or the Mason's Isle.
And they reset every day?
Yes, every day. But one day of the week you get all 3. So if there's one thing you want particularly, more gold, more training points, or more crafting resources, you can choose which campaign you want to do, or if you're really keen, you could probably do them all. We're going to do the Mason's Isle. I'm definitely going to want to cruise through that, because at the end of Mason's Isle you get a Void Core. Very important, and you definitely want to collect as many Void Cores as you can. But this is really important, the standard campaigns that everyone gets to work through. Every time you finish one and unlock another one, you will then get an emerald chest. You can see here there's an emerald chest for every single campaign. So if you've done campaign 1 and 2, but you haven't done campaign 3 yet, if you just finish the last little bit of campaign 2 just to unlock campaign 3, and I think you have to have done at least 1 mission of the next campaign to unlock even if you've unlocked it, you can't just leave it. You have to successfully complete even just the very first mission, and then the next day you'll get an emerald chest for every single campaign you've unlocked, and in each emerald chest is a guaranteed soul stone. So soul stones are so important in this game. There we go. So we can see we've got a little soul stone there in that chest. But yeah, it's a really good reason to try and progress through those campaigns as quickly as possible. Even if you can just survive through, the end of campaign 4, the end of campaign 5, you'll start getting 4 or 5 or even 6 soul stones every single day, and that will help you progress much faster. I think if you're kind of just starting out with Tower Keepers, it's better to focus on finishing those campaigns more than, say, playing around in the catacombs. Like, the catacombs are cool, but the catacombs are more something you'd do once you've finished all those campaigns. because you'll still be able to get the soul stone from the emerald chest in the campaigns that you've unlocked, even when you've finished all of them. Okay, so we just got a Paladin soul stone. That's cool. So we kind of talked through that. The next thing I could undo all these emerald chests, but it's not that exciting to watch. I think what we should do is dive in, and I really want to get the void core that's at the end of the Mason's Isle. And a lot of you won't have probably made it to the final level of the Mason's Isle, so let's dive into this and see if we can get through to the final stage quickly and show you guys what kind of monsters you'll be up against and what sort of things work to fight your way through it. Bruno's here, he's invisible, but he's actually playing Tower Keepers. Actually, the lesser demons aren't that great. I don't use them in my tower myself, but they are really good for combining with other monsters. So the loot we get from the hard campaign is pretty good. We get 3 celestial orbs, which are also great for crafting. The void cores are what you really want, but you do need celestial orbs as well, and quite a lot of them. So we get 3. That's really cool. And now we're going to try extreme.
Spending on your food, mister.
Yep, we just had enough food, I think. So now we've got a level, look at that, level 92 Eye of the Beholder. Took my druid down to half health with that cone of fire. That is crazy. So here, instead of healing, we're going to use that shadowy sensor. Unfortunately, it completely missed the Beholder. The Beholder's going to do a cone of fire again. Look at that. Now my druid is below 50% health. But with those healing skills, she's coming back up. And those were just the passive healing skills. I haven't used her soul skill yet. At this point, I'm now going to use the rapid regeneration because we're sort of on half-life in the back line. We were. And it looks like we can use Shadowy Sensor again. The Beholder dodged, but we got her on the second attack, so that's good. Cyclone, Druid Cyclone is a really great offensive ability. It took me a while to figure out how to use the Druid in an optimal way either, and it will depend on your own party formation. I'm going to use Shadowy Sensor, get the attack off first. As the attack does damage, you can see the soul energy increasing. Now I'm going to use Inspiration because I have plenty of soul energy, and we're not really that wounded. We'll just save our soul energy for another Shadowy Sensor, which is cooled down. Look at that, and these monsters are almost dead. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out an optimal Druid skill configuration, but I quite like an offensive Druid at this point. The Druid is offensive. I like using her Cyclone especially, and her Entangle is quite good as well. Especially if you're running this dual healer party, you don't really need to have both your healers with all of their skills on healing. And the Druid, if you give her a good staff with a decent attack, the Druid can do quite a lot of damage with that Cyclone. Let's use the Shadowy Sensor, see if we can finish these monsters off. We've got soul energy, and I don't think we need to heal just yet, so we're going to use Inspiration because we can. We're taking a little bit of damage, so let's heal up just to be safe. And we have plenty of soul energy, enough to attack again as well. And that Shadowy Sensor is going to kill everything except that one Vampire Lord. See that Cyclone?
It doesn't have a very good offensive version. But
no,
the Druid does.
The Druid does. But
because her soul skill, it's a massive healing skill.
I've never used Bludgeoning Strike really. I might have at the very start. It doesn't do much damage. And I think, yeah, you'd be better, if you're using the Cleric, I probably wouldn't use Bludgeoning Strike. I would, you definitely go all out heal with the Cleric, I think. You'd be better to heal up one of your other heroes who's tanking than for her to attack, and let your damage dealers and warriors do the damage for you. Okay, so look at that. We get 854 gold. We get some artisan points. We get some training points. We get some skill points and some keeper XP. That's really, really cool. And then the chest. This is where it's at for Mason's Isle. Look at that. We get 2 more celestial orbs and a void core. And what I found as you play through this game, once you get to the point where you can finish Mason's Isle, it will come up 3 times a week, I think, Bruno, isn't it? 3 times a week, if you include the day where they all come up. And so you can actually do Mason's Isle 3 times a week and get 3 void cores. And that really, really helps. You can craft something decent almost every week with that. Alright, hope you enjoyed. See you guys on the next one.